Wow, whew, it's bright and sunny, isn't it? Oh well, we'll deal. We'll start off with the kitty cat. There's the bubble. He's so cute. He says, I'm cute, but I'm a predator. These are my weapons. Not so good weapons. I just trimmed them up yesterday, so. All right, let's get settled in here. Got my coffee. All right. There we go. Oops. There we go. Morning, Chris. How are you? Holy, that sun's bright. It looks like really lovely here, but it's really freaking cold. Welcome to Canada. It's either cold or it's snowing. Today it's about minus 18. It's been worse. Hi, Lori. Yeah, you caught the live. Oh, that's my phone. Sorry, just have to answer a text. I've had a bit of a cold this week. Oh, we had lots of snow last week, and then this week it's just been cold. Now I had a virus cold, not the Rona. Did not have the Rona, never had a fever. Just stuffy and coffee and a little bit of sneezing. Hi, Marilyn. Oh, you're making bread? Oh, you're so ambitious. I'm not. I don't bake or cook or nothing. Well, I do cook because I got Chef's Plate, one of those meal delivery services. Works out really good, actually. Slippery. Yeah, I imagine it is slippery. We had like a foot of snow in a day. We didn't get it as bad as like Toronto or Ottawa, but it was pretty heavy snow. It was fun. Yeah. I have a bread maker. I should pull that out and make some bread because I love fresh made bread. So, first thing is, I got a new order from June. I have my little crochet hooks. I bent the snot out of them, so I thought I would try a new set. So these are them. They're the little teeny ones for doing like crochet cotton and laces. But I bent the snot out of my other set, so I thought I would give these a look. So that's the 1.5. That's pretty decent, actually. I don't remember what I paid for them, but it wasn't much. I think I paid like $1 for them. Crazy cheap, but I want one of the littlest ones. There we go. Oh, these are good. The shafts are nice and thick, going to the little teeny tiny little ends. They're so small. Good morning, Lori. So what I've been working on is I've always wanted to have a signature yarn and something that, I can make fairly quickly and that I enjoy. And I've been experimenting off and on for a couple of years, but I think I finally stumbled upon one I like. So this is the yarn. I did this with my my wool subscription service box delivery thingy, monthly wool thing. Yeah, English is hard. But this is the yarn I ended up designing, and it's got like a fluffy ply and a regular ply. So I get this almost spiral effect, but it is, there's very little movement in it. And I quite like it. The reason I like this design, Lori M and Lori M. Yes, I've got all kinds of Lori M's. I like this design because the one ply is fluffy, so that would trap air for extra warmth. And the one ply is just a straight spin, so that would give it like strength and longevity. Good morning, Barbara. Now, this has been spun wash to set the twist, but I haven't actually tried working with it yet, which is, of course, the final test of the yarn. But now that I've, enjoyed the dyeing process, I have one balled up here, and I'm going to use it. Except I lost my knitting needles. I'm probably sitting on them. Yep, sitting on them. Here they are. All right, so first we're going to start with crochet. I've got my J hook here, 6mm. These are my favorite hooks, by the way. Those are the Tulip Entimo hooks. Love them. They're amazing. I can crochet for hours with them. So I'm just going to try we'll do a 10-stitch swatch. I'm going to do foundation double crochet for 10 stitches. And see how this works. Now it's a thick and thin yarn, so like lightly thick and thin, not severely. But it is textured, so it's going to be a little trickier to see the stitches, but we'll see how it works. Oh, Lori, these are amazing. They're expensive, but I actually have 2 sets of them. I love them so much. Just something about the design on them is like perfect for me to hold. And I just can go forever with them. I love them. Oops. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with the texture, it is going to be tricky to see stitches, I imagine, but my goal with this yarn was to make something where the yarn itself makes the design. Like you don't have to have a fancy pattern for it. You can just do straight knit or crochet and let the yarn do the textural element of it. These ones were the Tulip Entimo breast cancer ones, but I also got a set of the tulip gray ones. I wonder, I found them on Amazon. I wonder if I can find the link. I'll have to check that out. I'll see if I can find a link for you in a little bit. Because they're just amazing hooks. I've never been sad I bought them. All right, so this is foundation double crochet row. You can see the tops of the stitches are pretty textured, and if you're not skilled at finding your stitches, this would probably not be the right one to use, but let me see how it goes. We'll just do a double crochet back across. I don't think I made 10 stitches, though. I lost count and just figured that's big enough. Okay, I'm able to find the stitches quite easily, but then I've never really struggled with, I crochet as much by feel as by sight. So for me, it's not a big issue finding the stitches. Oh, this is so soft. This is a BFL, and it's in this particular yarn, it maximizes the softness as well. It gives you a really nice fluffy feel to it. Oh, Bobo brought me his smacky to throw. All right, so there's 2 rows. The texture is lovely. I'm going to do another one. And we'll see, and then I'll just tie it off and we'll see how it looks. And then we'll do a knit sample and see how that looks. Don't laugh at my knitting skills, though. I really suck at it, but you know, I'm getting better. Oh, I hear kitty snorts from the ground. Yep, they're playing. How's everybody doing with the winter sads? It's been kicking my butt, I tell you. I do a lot of sleeping. Mind you, that could have been the cold too, but Cold as in head cold, not cold as in cold outside, although that does contribute. I've been a crocheter since I started my fiber journey. So knitting is something I've just picked up kind of lately. I'm not as comfortable with it, but I'm getting there. All right, so this is our little swatch of crochet with that yarn. And it does have, oh, it's really hard to see. I'll have to do a better video of it, but it's got little pops of the pink coming through. And it's, oh, it feels lovely. Yeah, Lori, winters are really hard. Winters suck. I do love Canada, but January, February are very hard months for me. But, you know, I spend my mornings in my sunroom to get my vitamin D and to help me wake up. And as you can see, it's very sunny in my sunroom. It helps, but still, there's that sads. And anybody who's never experienced winter does not understand about sads, but I can't imagine how it is like further north where they actually get, you know, no sun for months, and it's just, oh, I can't even imagine. Oops. Okay, hold on, let me try again. Might have to change knitting needles because the cable on this one is very stiff. It's kind of annoying me. I don't use straight knitting needles ever because I just find them too awkward to hold, I guess because I'm used to shorter crochet hooks, but this cable is very long. But so far, the yarn is not splitty. The needle goes under it nicely. It doesn't go through it. It's not catching on that fluffy apply. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, there's 10 knit stitches. Inside spinning. I hear you. That's how come I have a yarn design, because I've been spinning. It's funny how, you know, lack of sunshine can affect your mental health in such a big way, but it really does. I mean, I'm on antidepressants already for an anxiety disorder. So the extra challenge of the winter months can sometimes be tricky, but I try to avoid going up and down on my dosage too much. I did have to increase when my husband was sick, obviously, because my anxiety was way out of control. But yeah, Barbara, the COVID is just, we're all COVID exhausted, and yet it's still such a big thing. We just can't seem to get beyond it. I have an appointment this week to get my booster vaccine, so I'll go get that, deal with COVID arm for a couple of days, because apparently it's brutal. Feeling like you've been slammed with a baseball bat, but apparently it only lasts like 24 hours. So I guess I can enjoy that. I just feel I should be doing my part in getting the vaccine, but that's your choice. A lot of my family members are not vaccinated and don't want to be vaccinated. And I'm not going to argue with them because there's enough hate in the world right now. We don't need to be increasing it. So just in general, COVID sucks. It's made our lives very, very hard. The world is a dumpster fire, so to speak, but you know, we'll get through if we can just be kind. And that's what we've lost most with our COVID crisis is kindness. There just doesn't seem to be much left to go around. Only bad for 6 hours. Wow. Yeah. See, I know 2 people who've got their boosters already, and they both had 24 hours of really sore arms. So I'm expecting that. I figure prepare for the worst, hope for the best, right? But yeah, I will be going on Wednesday, I believe is my appointment, to get that done. And then I can move on with my life again. It's hard when it's so snowy and cold and I don't want to go outside and get fresh air. Yeah, there's so much hate everywhere, eh, Chris? It's just like, people, come on now. We're all facing real hardships. So my son-in-law didn't get vaccinated. He got COVID and was really sick. He plans on getting the shot when he is able. My son had it, but was boosted and thought he had a cold. Now, see, this is what I'm wondering too, is I had my 2 doses. And last week, I've had a cold, cold. I never had a fever. I did not get tested for COVID because it just didn't seem worth the bother, but maybe it was COVID, and just with the vaccines, I just didn't get, that sick. But regardless, I kept myself away from people, told everybody in my life, don't come visit this week, and just kept an eye on myself, and that's that, right? But yeah, really, all I want to do these days is just spread so much kindness, I probably go too far the other way these days, because just especially with people who are working retail, they get crapped on for no reason. And it's like, okay, people, they're just working, trying to earn a living and support their family. Don't be crapping on them. But regardless, we can move on. So what are people's winter activities? Does anybody here actually enjoy the winter? Do you go snowmobiling or skiing or skating or any of that fun stuff? Because I've never been a winter sports person. I'm not a big fan of the cold. I get out to do my driveway, and to me, that's enough winter activity for me. I use a snowblower for 90% of it. The catio, though, is open. Hibernation. I agree, Marilyn. That's my winter activity. Hibernate. The cats have been... I built the access so they can use the catio in the winter, but they could only have the cage part, and they don't like the snow. So they usually just go out and sit on the steps for a little while and come back in. But they still want their option for the catio because they're spoiled, My sunroom is insulated, but it's not great. So they can judge how cold it is outside by walking into the sunroom, because the floor temperature tells them how cold it is. If it's too cold, they just sit by the fire. Oops. Lost my yarn. Oh, hi, Ian. Yes, my driveway is an extreme winter sport some days. Depends on whether the snowplow has been by yet or not. Because that snowbank, it makes at the end of the driveway, I have just a little battery-powered snowblower. And while it is great, it is not a, big monster snowblower that can chew through anything. So doing a snowbank at the end of the driveway can sometimes be a challenge. I've got it figured out now, though, as I just clear an area and then I take a shovel and I just spread out the snow, and then I can snow blow it out of the way. I leave that for hubby. It is his winter sport. See, when I lived with my husband, when we lived at the family house, his family has a logging company. So they had all kinds of heavy equipment. We never had to do our driveway because they just send the plow truck around to do everybody's driveway. It was great. We never had to worry about it. But now that I'm in town, you're not going to fit a snowplow in my driveway. It's too little. But my little snowblower does an excellent job. My winter activities are spinning, knitting, weaving, crochet, and yoga. I haven't done yoga, but I really keep thinking I should, because it would help me with just keeping all my joints limber, if nothing else. Working in grocery retail, it does test your patience. I imagine it does. I've gone in there, and when I'm getting groceries and I'm talking to the clerks and stuff, and I'm always extra jokey and fun and kind of kind, and I don't know if I annoy them or not, but just to me, I just try to make it a pleasant encounter for a change. And I mean, that's normally me anyways. I'm forever joking with people and chit-chatting and being nice when I'm out, but I try to be extra just because people they're just crazy sometimes. All right. So we've done a few rows of knit, and it does give it this lovely textured look to it. It is so soft. Now I'm using like a really large needle. It's probably like a 10. So I think I would actually try it on a smaller needle and see how the texture shows up, so I don't get because you can definitely see like the gaps in the stitches. But so far, I'm liking it. So this might be my winner. I'm kind of excited, actually. I'm going to cast that off. And we'll see how it looks. YouTube yoga with Adrian. She is the best, helps with anxiety too. Yeah, that's the other reason is I hear that it really helps you center yourself and helps with the anxiety. Most of the time, my medication level is very good. And it did take me a long, long time to first realize what was going on. And second of all, get properly medicated for my anxiety. And it's really strange because once I was finally medicated to the proper levels with proper medication, I look back and it was like, how did I survive all those years? Like it's crazy how pervasive it is and how you just learn to live with it. Like it was my father had an illness that hospitalized him, like ICU. He was airlifted into a city and almost didn't make it. All very tragic and whatnot. But that's what finally pushed me to see about getting help. And even then, it still took 3 years to get me properly medicated. And now I look at it and I'm like, wow, how did I even survive? Like, it's crazy. But regardless, we don't need to talk sad stuff. We can talk happy stuff. There we go. So here are my 2 swatches. That's the knit side. Knit and crochet. And I really like the texture of it. It's quite soft, but yet still has that fun texture to it. So what I'll do is I will probably take these and stress test them. I will get soap and water and probably a basket from my salad spinner. And I'll just start rubbing it and we'll see how the abrasion test works out. This is probably going to pill because of the fluffy layer in it, but I don't know how badly. So that will be my next thing to try. I could actually go get a bucket of water right now and we could stress test this live just for fun. Because this is how my life works. Tammy has an idea or Dr. Chaos strikes again. Just going to have some coffee here. Oh, coffee is so good. How do we even live without coffee? I don't think we can. Oh, well, thank you, Lori. I am really a true human. Like, this is me. Take it or leave it. If you don't like me, that's fine. Keep scrolling. But I can't be anybody but who I am. That's just the way it goes. I'm just noticing I cut my hair and I did a really bad job of it. So I shaved higher on this side than I did on this side. And I need to go back and trim the back some more. Do you know how hard it is to try to cut your own hair with no mirror behind you? I should just break down and go to the hairdresser, but it just started to annoy me so bad last week. I was like, man, just pulled out my razor and did it myself. All right, I'm going to go get a bucket of soap and water, and we're going to do an abrasion test. So you guys chat among yourselves. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Pull my hair into a pony and snip it off. That would work if I had enough hair, but I've shaved off so much of it. Okay, Marilyn, go get the bread in the oven. All right, I'm going to just tip it down a bit so you can see what I got here. I love my little salad spinners. I use them for everything, and I buy them at like the dollar stores. It's not like I'm out a huge amount on my budget. All right, we got our little knit sample here. And I'm going to get it wet and soapy. Now, the goal here is to not splash my computer while I'm doing this. I'm just going to flip this over. Well, sometimes, Lori, learning from my experience is actually ends up being, don't do this. So I don't know how this is going to work out, but we're going to find out. So I got it wet and soapy. I'm going to use the bottom of this to just abrade my little sample here. I'm trying to be gentle because I don't want to splash the computer. Okay, so we can see it's starting to fuzz up. And that's with just a little bit of abrasion. I was pretty sure this was going to be pilly. All right. Dip it again. I love finding different ways of using things. Ian, the kitty was at the beginning of the video. They're outside. Oh, no, wait, there's a Bobo. Bobo's inside, but he's over on the catio. I can go get him in a minute. Ian is my kitty cat's godfather, so he likes to check on them. If anything happens to me, he takes custody of my kids. It was actually a concern of mine when COVID first started, because I was like, what happens if I get sick and I'm in the hospital? Who's going to take care of my cats? So I made Ian their godfather, and now he's responsible for them if anything happens to me. Yeah, they're crazy for being outside. Well, Latte is. Bobo's a little smarter. He's just sitting on top of the catio tunnel. All right. I don't know how well you can see this. Maybe if I go sideways. But it is, there is a lot of fluffiness happening. I could make felted slippers. Yeah, he is their godfather. It's hilarious. But I could also, I'm also thinking I could shock the yarn when I'm setting the twist, because I just did like a regular bath on this and a regular wash to set the twist. So I'm thinking maybe if I shock it, so do the hot water to cold water a few times, that might felt the fluffiness enough to keep it together so it doesn't abrade as much. I'm going to get a kitty cat. Hold on. Come here, Bubble. Come here, my baby. Come here. Oh, you can fly. There we go. Kitty cat. What's that, Bubble? Hey, what's that? He's like, let me go. I don't want to be on camera. No, he's not running away, though. All right, so that gives me a good idea of how the abrasion is going to work on a knit sample. Let's try it on a crochet sample now. Yes, Ian, that's a kitty. If Latte comes inside, I'll make him come on camera too. At least I assume he's still outside. I should probably check. He could be out in the living room. Okay, I just swished it in a towel to get some of the water off. Can you see the fuzzy? There we go. So it does get pretty fuzzy pretty fast. So I'm thinking, I mean, it doesn't detract from the prettiness of the yarn, really. It's just for wear and tear. I'm thinking I might want to felt that more. All right, let's grab our crochet sample so you can see how it looks to start. And we're going to dip it. Squeeze out some of the water. Oops. And flip our basket over and start braiding. I'm braiding you apparently at the same time. What is this? Okay, I'm going to remove. Okay, there we go. We don't need that stuff on ours. So these are some ways you can test your yarns rather than, you know, making a whole sweater and then finding out that it's going to pill like crazy. You can just knit a little swatch or crochet a little swatch and then use your salad spinner to do an abrasion test. Or really anything would work. Just something that's going to give you a rough surface so you can simulate excessive wear. And if you do it while it's wet, the fibers are they're a little less resistant when they're wet. So you get results quicker. Oh, Bubble just had a snack. Did you have a good snacky snack, Bubble? Mm-hmm. He's down on the floor winking at me. Oh, my baby. All right. I'll give this a rinse. Now you can see how little time I spent doing an abrasion test on that, because this is just a quick test. And I will wrap it in my towel, give it a good squeeze to get some of that water out. Oh, here comes Latte. You can see a shadow moving on the wall. Come here, baby. Come here, Tay-Tay. Come and say hi to everybody. Oh, you're cold, baby. Let me cuddle you to warm you up. There's a bit of a size difference between my kitty cats, in case you can't tell by how much of my lap they take up. Are you cold? You, Tay-Tay? Are you cold? Say hi to everybody. He's like, no, I don't want to. Here's my buddy. Woo! Your tail is super cold. Were you sitting on it? Hey? Yay, Latte! Yes, that was Latte. He came back in from the cold finally because he's crazy kitty. He doesn't mind the cold. All right, so here's our crochet sample. Post-abrasion testing. So you can see how it definitely halos up. Which is, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I wouldn't use it to make a pattern per se, because it's not really going to show a pattern very well. But I'm actually kind of liking the way it fluffs up a bit, that halo. It makes it so nice and soft. And I do like the colorways, the way they blend and mix. I use the same colorways on both plies, but because they're done completely independently, we get some barber pulling, places where the colors line up, like here on this brown. Both plies ended up being brown. I'm really loving it. So I think the next step is going to be, in the finishing, I will shock the yarn and see if that cuts down on the fluffiness that happens with the abrasion. No, he's not a Maine Coon, Lori, at least not as far as I know. He's not that big. He just looks that big. I do want a Maine Coon, though. I love Maine Coons. They are such amazing cats. And someday I want to own a Maine Coon. That's actually how I found Bobo, because there's a Maine Coon breeder in the area. And I had seen, when I was looking for Latte, I had actually seen on Kijiji that they were offering Maine Coon kittens. But at the time, I ended up getting Latte instead, which no regrets. And then I got Bruce after him. And then after Bruce died, Latte, I thought, really needed a friend. So I thought I'd get him a Maine Coon. So I went back on Kijiji. They didn't have any kittens, but there was a listing for Bobo, free to a good home. Only at that time, he was Prince. So I contacted the guy who owned him, and he was like, oh, yeah, he's still available. So I picked up Bobo. That was the middle of the pandemic, the first wave. I went and I got Bobo, and for a while we thought it wasn't going to work. It was scary for a couple of months, but now they've settled in and they're friends, and they're quite happy together. The problem was that Latte and Bruce, my other kitty cat, they were a bonded pair. They didn't come together, but from the day they met, they were best buddies. They just instantly were in love with each other. So when Bruce got sick and I had to put him down, that really, like, don't fool yourself. Cats have emotional lives. Latte was devastated. And I thought he needed a friend. Apparently, he just wanted, only Bruce would do. So in dealing with his own grief and me bringing Bobo in, it took him a while to accept it. But yeah, that's what I hear, that Maine Coons are like having a dog in cat form, which to me is awesome. And I love the size of them. Like, some of them are so huge. And I'm just like, oh, I really do want a Maine Coon. I'm not one, like, I'm a adopt, don't shop kind of person. But then I see Maine Coons and I'm like, I really want one. So my conflict is, do I adopt or do I shop, right? But that's not going to matter because I'm only allowed 2 cats. I have 2. I'm not getting another one right now. When my husband was ill in the hospital, I was out for a bit. I came in and I was telling him, I was thinking, we should get a cat. And then I was thinking, but what about when we're away? So we should get 2 cats so they can keep each other company when we're away. And then I was thinking, what if there was a bonded family at the pound or the SPCA or whatever you want to call it, and they need to be homed together? We could adopt them all. And I was like, and this is how I end up being a crazy cat lady. So my BFF promised him that she wouldn't let me get more than 2 cats. Only 2. 2 does not qualify you as a crazy cat lady. That doesn't happen until you have 3 cats. So as long as I have 2, I'm not a crazy cat lady. Yeah, I'm a crazy cat lady. But I only have enough time for my 2 cats. I can't imagine having more. So I will stick with my 2 for now. But if anything happens to one of them, heaven forbid, knock on wood, I think I would be looking at getting a Maine Coon. I just love them so much. Oh, Latte's going back outside again. There he is. Looking at the door, thinking, do I? Yeah, I'm going out. There he goes. Out the tunnel. He's crazy. He doesn't mind the cold at all. When we're kids were little, we had one, and she followed us when we would take a walk to the pond on the property like a dog would. Yeah, they're supposed to have the best nature, like just really, really nice kitties. It's too late. Latte's outside. He likes it out there because he's crazy. Seeing as how he belongs to a crazy cat lady, I guess that's okay. I wound up with 5 rescues. Oh, even though your dog keeps it first. One is 17 and the other is 16. Wow, they're getting up there. My one cat, Scotty, lived to 19. After her, I had Autumn. She was only about 13, I think. And that was right in the middle of Tom being sick. Then she got sick, and it was just a disaster. And that's part of the problem too with getting rescue cats, because I don't get kittens. I go for adult cats. So they don't really know how old they are if they've been picked up, right? So they can only guesstimate their age. And depending on what happened in their early life is going to affect, their health later on and their longevity. So that's why Baba was so small. Like, he was literally like a little tiny kitten rescued off the street. So nutrition wise, he didn't get a whole lot. So he is a very small kitty, but he is fairly healthy. So I'm going to hope that living life with me is pretty lush. So I'm hoping that helps him live longer. Thyroid for one and bowel cancer for the other. So meds. Oh, I can't imagine. You think they can't be around for much longer. There's a guy on TikTok. He's got, I think it's 23-year-old cat. I was just like, what? Our dog, Tom and I had a hound, and he was not fixed, and he ended up with testicular cancer that moved through his body. But the vet wanted to do, when we first discovered it, he wanted to do, fix him and then do chemotherapy. And we're like, he's a big hound. He's 7 years old. He's always had his nuggets, and can't imagine taking his nuggets away from him first, because he's used to having them for 7 years. And second of all, he's a big hound at 7 years old. That's actually quite old for a bigger dog. So we're like, no, we're just going to leave him. He's not in any pain right now. He was doing fine. And he lived another 3 or 4 years before we finally had to put him down. But he was a happy dog, pain-free. Just eventually he started having seizures. So they figured the cancer had moved to his brain. So when he told us the time was right, yeah, we put him down. But even without treatment, he had like 3 or 4 years of really healthy, happy life, like you got to balance it out, right? It's hard when we love them and we want to give them everything, but at some point we have to say, what's the quality of life they're going to have? And that's always the hard part, right? It's just, I want to keep them with me forever, but quality of life, that's a big thing for me. Boy, I've been a cheery talker today, haven't I? This is apparently why I haven't been posting a whole pile of videos, just not my normal perky self. But again, this is the real me. I do have to get in touch with the wool co-op and see about going to get some fleeces. As long as their quality is good, yes. And I firmly believe that animals will let you know when they've had enough. You can just look at them and you can just know that they're not happy anymore. Like, it when you see the look, it. And we have the ability to make their passing very peaceful. And I think that's just one of the kindest things we can do for our companions. It's just a personal thing. But yeah, that's, my opinion. Obviously, just mine. So I should probably stop depressing everybody. Oh no, diarrhea, and she gets a needle every 3 months. Oh, yeah, it might be time. I hope she's okay. Exactly. Yeah, don't let them suffer. That's always the big thing. Don't let them suffer. And like Bruce Latte's, bondmate, he's just such a sweet boy, and he was young. He was, they don't really know his age, but they figured he was about 3 years old. But he just was so sick, and I had the option of running a bunch more tests on the off chance that we could figure out what was going on, or give him anti-nausea drugs to try to keep him from throwing up long enough to figure out. And it's just, he looked at me and I could see it in his eyes that he was just, he was done. He didn't have the fight in him. So I took care of it for him, and I still miss him. He was such a great cat, but he had a really good life with Latte and I. And that's what I always tell myself, is just, I give them the best I can for as long as I have them, They got a catio. Like spoil them rotten and love them like crazy while they're here. Oh, your 13-year-old dog. Oh, that's so wonderful. Feeding her chocolate chip cookies. Oh, peaceful. That's what we always hope for. They are great companions. And yeah, operations at that age is probably too risky. Just love them while they're there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my catio too. I'm going to make some adjustments this spring, but yeah, especially now that this is the first winter I've gone through with the full catio, so I have a better idea of what I need to do so it's usable in the winter. So yeah, come the spring, I will be doing some renos to the catio. We'll get that up and running a little better. It'll be good. My boys are they're so happy having the catio and being able to go outside, even in the winter. But they love it in the spring and fall when the chipmunks are plentiful. I think my final tally for the year was 16 chipmunks they caught. Like, they're insane. And they bring them inside to show me. I'm like, no, keep the chipmunks outside. I don't want them in my house. I don't know what I'm going to do to keep them from bringing them inside this year. I have to figure that out. Maybe I'll no, because the chipmunks can just climb anything I put in the way as a barrier. Oh, Ian, you can help. We're going to be renovating the catio. You got to get some more fencing from Jeff so we can make them more tunnels around the yard. Yes, they catch them in the catio. Like, I actually sat there one day. I was outside sitting in the pen part, so like just the dog run page wire cage part. And Latte was sitting right at the fence. Hi, Tammy. Good morning. Latte was sitting right at the fence, and a chipmunk ran by outside the fence, and he just literally went, eat one, like just caught it, one paw, flung it inside the catio and just caught it. I was just like, that's crazy. But in the spring and fall, the chipmunks are busy, in the spring doing, I assume, the mating thing. But they'll be chasing each other around, but they're so intent on the chase that they're not paying attention to where they go. And a lot of the times they run right through the catio, right where the cat is sitting. And it's like, where's your survival instinct? Can you not smell the predator that's right there? And the boys are hilarious because they catch them, but they don't kill them, and they don't particularly torture them, although they are cats and they do like to fling them around and stuff. But generally they bring them inside, and then I end up closing the door to the house with the chipmunk in the sunroom. And then I have to try to catch the chipmunk to get it back outside again. It's insanity. Oh, no, they're alive when they bring them in, Lori. They are alive. They bring them in alive, and I have to catch them and release them back into the wild. Yeah, Ian's always up for renovating, especially when it comes to his godsons. He's always like, oh, more. Let's do more for the godsons. He loves my kitty cats as much as I do. I do have, I want to like secure the tunnel a little better and make some more tunnels outside and fix the roof on the pen. Yes, Sue, you think that's hilarious? You should see what these chipmunks do. Trying to catch them is such a chore sometimes. I should get a camera and put it up in the corner of the sunroom before the spring and just let it run so that when I have to try to catch these stupid chipmunks in the sunroom, there's footage of it, because I'm sure it looks absolutely hysterical. Me running around the room with a pair of gloves on trying to catch a chipmunk, and the cat's trying to help me. And then there was the bird. The one day I was spinning and they caught, the bird is bigger than Baba when they caught it and brought it inside. Like, they're ridiculous. They bring them in alive. I think there was 2 chipmunk deaths, I think, and one of those I caused accidentally, and 2 bird deaths. When they catch the little birds, they tend to kill them by accident, not on purpose. But out of the 16 chipmunks, only 2 of them died. Like, that's not bad at all. They just bring them inside, and then I have to catch them and release them back out into the wild. Thanks, boys. Bob was lying by the fire waiting for the fire to kick back on again while Latte is outside in the cold. I don't get it. All right, well, I think we're going to end this here, guys. And I am going to I might take this skein and I might go rewash it and shock it and then do another abrasion test with it and see if it's better than this sample. I think that's what I might do. And then see how that works up. The trap under the sink caught one by the leg. Oh, no. 2 French Angoras hidden from 6 Siberian Huskies. No! That does sound like an episode for Spinning in the Dark, Tammy. That's pure chaos. We know how I love chaos. I can't imagine if one of the bunnies got out and there's like 6 Siberian Huskies. Oh my. Your house must be so noisy because Siberian Huskies are like crazy with the howling and stuff. How do they do in Texas? Is it not like too hot for them down there? Hmm. Yeah, they do enjoy watching mom chase. They don't help me a whole lot. I mean, they chase it around and I try to catch it and then they'll go and chase it out of corners, but that's about it. Most of the time they just sit there and I swear they're cat laughing at me. They're just, boys. Yeah, that's why you keep them inside. Yeah, I imagine. They would love it up here right now. It's so cold. It's like perfect husky weather. They'd be out there lying in the snowbank going, "Oh, yeah, baby." But their coats are so specialized to keep them warm. I found out something about cats I didn't know. Yeah, I was going to sign off and then totally got distracted. Apparently, cats' coats are not designed to keep them warm, they're designed to keep them cool. But cats love heat, so I don't know. It sounds suspicious to me. I might have to do a little bit more research on that. Okay, but seriously, I'm gonna go and get some stuff done. I'll probably get that yarn washed up again and maybe jet off an email to see how we're doing with the raw fleeces, if we have any to pick up and maybe list, which could be fun. But in the meantime, you all have a great day. Try to get some sunshine. Don't let the winter get you down. Stay healthy, all that stuff, and be kind. And I'll see you all later. Mwah. Bye, guys.